So today guys, we are going to be going through the 10 MiniToon secrets in Roblox Piggy. So this weekend just gone, I actually had the chance to interview MiniToon, something that we normally do in between chapters and pretty big stages in the story. And now we asked MiniToon a number of questions, and we actually got to find out quite a fair bit about the future of Piggy. But the main thing that I am going to be doing in this video today guys is I'm going to be simplifying absolutely everything that had been said and also be going through the secrets that you guys may have missed. Also guys, I will leave the link to the MiniToon interview down in the description down below. So if you guys want to check out the full entire interview, then make sure to go and check it out. MiniToon does also have face cam on, which is extremely amazing. So if you guys are new around here, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and also make sure to be using star code Antixx when buying Robux or Premium, because it does help me and the channel out an awful lot. And if you do, make sure to take a picture, send it to me either on Twitter or Discord so that I can show my appreciation. So guys, let's jump in to the top 10 MiniToon secrets. Number 1, Chapter 7 update. Now recently, MiniToon actually tweeted out saying, "I've got some big news for the future of Piggy. When Chapter 7 releases, it will be released with a major update that will change a lot about Piggy. Some of it will be core gameplay and some of it will be adding collectibles." So I then went on to ask MiniToon about this, and he gave us a couple of ideas as to what to expect. Now MiniToon did say that he is probably going to be splitting this update into 3 parts due to there being so much, and also there is going to be quite the change in the trap system for the Piggy. He also then went on to explain that there is going to be a little bit of an upper hand given to the player here. So potentially we could be seeing some form of power up given to us during the next 7 to 12 chapters. Now what this trap system means for the Piggy, I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to actually try and figure that one out just a little bit more, but all we do know is that I reckon that there's probably more than likely going to be some form of power up coming here, maybe like a speed mode or something like that. I'll have to try and have a little think guys. Number 2, music tracks with B-Slick. So during the interview, I actually asked MiniToon, how do you and B-Slick come up with your music tracks together? Now apparently the secret here is that MiniToon basically finds some songs. It could be from movies, it could be like from video games. He basically collects those music and then sends it over to B-Slick as a kind of reference as to what MiniToon actually wants for the next coming chapters. Now I actually asked MiniToon, have you ever received one back from B-Slick where you're like, yeah, I don't really like that one? And MiniToon's answer was yes, indeed. He had actually received maybe a couple back from B-Slick where he maybe potentially didn't like the instruments that were used in this song. So what they did is they just went back and they changed potentially like, I don't know, like an acoustic guitar for an electric guitar, but most of the time it was literally just the instruments that just needed changing. So I then went on to ask him, had you ever scrapped any songs that came back from B-Slick? And MiniToon basically said, no, we've never actually scrapped any, we've just altered them. Number 3, delayed chapters. Now I'll be honest, I don't think that we noticed the fact that these chapters did take quite some time in actually coming out guys. So I basically asked MiniToon how much was Roblox Battles and Ready Player 2 event, how much did that actually affect the slowness of these chapters being released? And MiniToon's reply was basically yes, it was a massive factor as to why these chapters did take a long time coming out. I did do a video recently where I spoke about is Piggy dying, and I actually managed to figure out the fact that if we actually received a chapter every single 2 weeks like we normally would do in book 1, we probably would have been around chapter 10 or 9. I can't exactly remember where it was, but I'm pretty sure by now we probably would have finished book 2. But MiniToon did actually have to build these maps by himself. The RBB, the RP2, he actually had to create all of these by himself. So he had absolutely no help from IKEA's. Oh, and also if you haven't done your Roblox battles, then make sure to do that because that's closing soon and I need to do that myself. But he also spoke about bringing puzzle-like environments to Intercity in the future. Apparently he likes to think the fact that, you know, all of these people, all of the players, they like playing with the game where it's kind of interactive in the environment. So MiniToon is planning to bring more puzzle-like environments to Intercity in the future. Number 4, the development of Piggy. Now, fun fact, we actually spoke about this potentially in the first ever interview that we gave MiniToon. Now, that probably would have been in around book 1, chapter, I don't know, 10 or 11. It was around that sort of area. Now, we actually spoke about this question, and fun fact, MiniToon actually asked me to remove this from the first interview. So I decided, MiniToon, I'm gonna ask you it in the third one. If you don't like it, tell me. But we basically spoke about this, and he actually went ahead and gave us a little bit of an insight as to what I'm about to speak about, but not an awful lot. So I basically asked MiniToon, have you ever considered developing Piggy outside of Roblox, and has any other major companies ever approached you about Piggy? Now, MiniToon actually replied to the fact about the major companies, and he replied eyes emoji. So he didn't physically, you know, actually post an eye emoji, but he said eye emoji. Now, I'm pretty sure that that does mean yes, but obviously it's a pretty kind of nasty question, I suppose. Maybe I shouldn't have asked it. I'm not entirely sure, but I did go on to say, have you ever had a major company approach you? He said eyes emoji, and I was a bit like, okay, that probably means yes, but you're doing the right thing by saying eyes emoji. But MiniToon was also asked about whether he is still considering taking Piggy away from Roblox, and he decided not to answer. Now, he has actually considered it in the past. He did say that he had thought about taking Roblox Piggy away from Roblox, probably more to the fact it will give him a little bit more freedom, but it looks as though he's maybe still thinking about it, maybe not. Number 5, the untold story. Now, this is something that myself and MiniToon actually spoke quite a lot about after the release of Book 2, Chapter 6. And I did find this extremely cool. Now, MiniToon actually said that the song was actually in the makings for quite some time. So the untold story was actually being made since Piggy Book 2, Chapter 4. So I then went on to ask MiniToon, how did you find Melissa Medina? Because she's actually really cool and actually sounds quite a little bit like the band Evanescence. And MiniToon basically said, well, actually Be Slick did find Melissa Medina. So Melissa Medina, who you hear doing the female version in that the Untold Story, that is who is doing those singing. However, this song, The Untold Story, had been spoken about for quite some time. Now, this has actually been spoken about since the beginning of Book 2. So ever since MiniToon took B-Slick on in the team, that's how he said it, ever since he took him on in the team, they actually spoke about doing this song for the midway finale. Number 6, Intercity. Now, one thing that I had always questioned is, MiniToon, why did you create Intercity in the middle of the Book 2? Why did you not do it after the whole Book 2 had finished? And MiniToon's response was basically he just wanted a new way to tell the story. He also explained how it's fun to be innovative as a developer and try new things. So I guess he kind of wanted to branch out maybe just a little bit sooner than potentially just waiting until the end of Book 2, which is why he decided to release a very, very bare bones version of what to expect. MiniToon also then went on to say that he believes that there is a lot more potential in Piggy Intercity. He then explained that he released Intercity before the ending of Book 2 due to impatience, and the fact about it being a New Year's gift. Now, we actually asked him about the game mode as well, and this was in fact the game mode that MiniToon had been speaking about last year. However, he decided to release it as just a game and not a game mode. Number 7, the Insolence. Now, the Insolence is a pretty big question in Book too. And I wanted to try and get something out of MiniToon, just a little bit of something about the Insolence. Now, I actually went on to ask MiniToon about who actually came up with the idea of the Insolence. Was it you or was it IKEA's? And MiniToon replied saying it was actually him. So I asked him, could you give us maybe just a little bit of an idea about the Insolence? Could you give us any kind of, like, I don't know, hints or ideas as to what the Insolence actually is? And he says, well, I can't really come up with anything on the spot right now, but the meaning of insolence means rude and disrespectful. Now, the Insolence idea actually came from MiniToon and IKEA's passing kind of like videos and weird sightings back and forth between them two. So ever like they find some weird sighting that, I don't know, has been seen in the Himalayas, like Bigfoot or anything like that, they kind of take that picture and they send it to each other and they're like, look at this is really creepy and this is really cool. And that's basically how they come up with these kind of aliases. So I then went on to say, well, they're not going to be a nice person then. And then MiniToon replied saying, person? Kind of hinting towards the fact that this Insolence is not going to be a person and more than likely going to be either monstrous or paranormal. But I guess the moral of this interview is we are just going to have to wait and find out. Number 8, Easter eggs. Now, MiniToon has actually considered revisiting old chapters and adding more Easter eggs that wouldn't necessarily be cutscenes, but would be more than notes. So the storyline of Piggy is something that we have all kind of invested our time and our minds into. So MiniToon knows how much this storyline is actually a part of Piggy. So MiniToon did say that he did consider to go back and add little Easter eggs, and like I said, it's going to be more than notes and not necessarily as big as cutscenes. So maybe he's going to put, you know, William's shoe in the alleys or something like that, just to give us a little bit of an Easter egg as to the storyline that is actually going on. Number 9, what's next? Now, to answer this, pretty plain, pretty simple, what's next is going to be a pretty big Intercity update. Now, the development of the Piggy Intercity update between chapters 6 and 7, which is where we're at right now, has also been started only the other day. So we can expect a pretty major Intercity update to come out within the next month or so, and can expect to encounter missions. So that is what MiniToon told us, is that with this update we are going to be coming across missions. He kind of basically said that we are going to be unlocking different parts of the map. We know that there was a couple of characters in City where they said you have to kind of get your way across the river or the sea or anything like that, and there was also that other character where they were like, I wish I could climb this mountain. So those kind of like little puzzle like things, they are going to be unlocking different parts of the next coming maps. And finally, number 10, people. Now this is something that I actually want to look quite a lot into here. This is probably the main secret that I would say MiniToon actually gave us in this interview. Now, MiniToon basically said, why is there only, you know, just one person? And I was a little bit bemused by the fact that, why is MiniToon saying this? This was pretty weird. But basically what MiniToon was getting at is he was saying, why are you the only human? And he said, and I quote, I wonder why that is. So there is a reason why we are playing as a human. He has actually maybe put quite a fair bit of thought into this detective right here, which is the part that we are playing. Now, I went on to say maybe that we have a family somewhere, and you know, it's a little bit weird as to why we are the only human inside of Piggy and everybody else are literally animals. So maybe we're going to find something out about that in the next coming chapters. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it from me today. Hopefully I did clear quite a fair few things up for you guys. I hope to think that it was a little bit simpler. Now, I will say this, I have actually taken quite a fair bit of time off over the last week or so, so my commentary is a little bit rusty, I will admit. But I have a big day ahead of me, guys, so I gotta get going. But anyway, hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we shall see you guys in the next one.